Welcome to another episode of UB Plugged In Podcast. I am your host today. My name is Joel.
Hello, I'm Olga.
I'm Jose.
And we do have a new guest today with us. She is our new colleague now. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Camila. I graduated from North Shore Senior High School last year. I'm currently here at San Jack, and I'm majoring in nursing.
Nice.
Welcome. She's also an alumni.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
so she is one of our
is.
former students. She graduated last year, right?
Yes.
Correct. So she's been doing her first year of college and came back, and now she's, she came back and looking for a job, and we needed some help, so we brought her in.
Yes.
Can you get rid of me?
Yeah. Which what happens because, a lot of our people that come back, they come back and work with us, which is great. So.
Can't you tell?
Yeah.
Joel's here.
Me.
True.
He started in 06 and look at him now.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about yourself. I know you did, after graduating high school, you started somewhere else and came back.
Yes. I went to UT Arlington, and I did my first semester of freshman year there, but it didn't work out, so I came back here, and now I'm trying to build my life here.
Great, yeah, and it happens, and that's what we kind of the topic of today, which what we're going to be talking about is what nobody tells you about college. So this session, we're just going to be going over some questions about our different time in college, what we experienced and what we've gained from it, what we learned from it, and then our recommendations for students or even adults that are, going to be attacking the college life experience. So for opening, before you go to college, what did you think it was going to be like?
For me, I thought it was gonna be more overwhelming than what high school was. I thought it was gonna be way more, but at the same time, I thought it was gonna be more or less the same, in the sense that you have all these things going on, different clubs going on, seeing all these people that you know, but I realized that those two things were not the same. That wasn't the case. It wasn't what's it called? Nearly as overwhelming, but it wasn't the same either. Like, it was very different.
And for you, what was your tracker? Just to give the listeners where you're going to school right now, or what was your high school going into? Did you take any college credits classes or?
I took AP classes. I never did like dual credit or Mecca, any of that, but I took a good amount of AP classes. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really do college classes. I guess in a sense, I did the work. I did the classes that looked like what my classes look like now, but I didn't take college credit classes.
And the school you're attending right now?
I'm currently in San Jacinto College.
And you're in
my sophomore year. Yeah, I'm doing what's it called? Computer science right now.
And planning to transfer?
And I'm planning to transfer to U of H this upcoming fall. Continuing my degree in computer science, if not going into a bachelor's of mathematics.
Nice.
For me, I thought college was going to be fun. I always pictured it like how you see in movies, like everybody is in clubs and frats and sororities. And I just thought everyone was really welcoming and like just a big event, but it really wasn't like that for me when I went away.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, some people, I guess, have different experience in college, so we could talk. Like, I think for Jose, his experience is going to be different from being local and being at San Jack compared to somebody that went off. And even me, because when I went off, I had a different experience than Camila. She had sort of, I would say, kind of like a bad experience. And I had sort of had the experience that you talked about that you thought it was.
The wild experience.
So,
Yeah.
going to the next question, was college easier or harder than you expected?
For me, I feel like it was easier than I expected, course-wise. Like, my classes were really easy. If the professor was the type of professor who was engaging with you a lot, classes went fast and easy. And I feel like the topics are more interesting than high school was. I mean, clearly, because they just go over the basics in high school. But it was easier than high school, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and yeah, they're much easier. I know high school. Well, I went in high school in the 90s, so it's very different from what it is now. But of course, when I started, we did have the regular. We didn't have the options you guys have now these days. We had the English, the government, the history, same thing. One of the biggest things that I wish we had back then was Rate My Professor. Back then it was word of mouth, and sometimes our friends are like, yeah, just take the class because I'm taking it with you. And I'm like, okay, bad mistake,
Yeah.
But I think the difference, it's I grew up with teachers and my college professors actually having a passion. I don't not to say that high school teachers don't have the passion, but they're so swamped with so much testing. We didn't have that much testing going on. So I think it's, I had like a breeze, it was pretty enjoyable for college. Master's was a lot more fun, in my opinion, when I finished my master's. Much easier too.
Oh, really?
Time management is
Yeah.
what helped.
But you would say like getting your master's was easier than getting your bachelor's?
Yes, because when I did my master's, I didn't know. When I did my bachelor's, it was kind of like, I didn't have upper bound. I didn't have, like Jose didn't have upper bound, but we didn't have like, how do I get into college? What is the first class going to be about?
Yeah.
So when I got into my master's, I knew my college professors already because they were my bachelor's professors, already. So it was a more, like, I knew what I was getting myself into, So I enjoyed it a lot more. And I was
see.
much older.
Well, yeah, for me, I would kind of piggyback off what y'all said. Like, I felt college was way easier. Coursework wise, for sure. Like in high school, I feel like the teachers give you a lot of busy work, a lot of not random homeworks, but just assignments to keep you busy and just to fill in a grade.
Yeah.
But they'll give you any assignment, even though, and that assignment could be kind of hard or it's just very long and tedious. Whereas here in college, I feel like your professors give you like 1 or 2 assignments per week, and you only have 4 classes, so you're doing like maybe max 6 to 8 assignments a week, and those assignments aren't that hard. We're talking about discussion boards and stuff like that. It's not that bad at all.
Yeah, I think to me, I was the opposite of y'all. I thought it was a lot harder than high school.
Oh,
Yeah, because I mean, for me, when I was in high school, I believe I started taking one AP class that I was not doing good in at all. Probably just passing with a C. So my other classes was passing with A's, but they were easy class. I didn't have to study. I didn't have to. I just showed up and passed the class, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of had that same
mentality.
And whenever I went to college, so I kind of did my classes to where I could just go, and the time I spent in the class was the only time I dedicated to that learning.
Yeah.
And that really messed me up my first semester, possibly even my second. Like, I struggled my first year. And yeah, so I had, going into the next thing, I had a lot of free time, which I didn't manage it well. And you have to really be self-disciplined to make yourself study for this, because it's not going to be, nobody's going to make you do it, or nobody's going to even make you go to class. So that's why I struggled a lot. For me, it was a lot harder because it wasn't something that I was used to doing in high school, and making that adjustment took me a while. And I mean, it kind of, my first 2 semesters, I failed a couple classes. I got into the academic suspension. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad. Like, I had to kind of like, I kind of learned the hard way. So, but I think most of that had to do with kind of like time management.
And not taking AP classes.
And yeah, and I think not taking AP classes. I did take I think I took 2 dual credit classes, which were like CJ classes. So I feel like with those classes, it was more interesting to me. But you know, when you're a freshman, you're taking your basics of
Yeah.
math and history and stuff like that, and stuff that you're not really interested in, but you
Yeah.
have to take them. And yeah, I struggle with them.
Mm.
So you know what? But I think one thing that's different is you know, you mentioned in the freedom, the amount of time that you have in class compared to, you know, in school you're there from AM all the way to PM.
Yeah.
When you're in college, you have class for, you know, it could be an hour and a half per class, and you're taking 4 classes for the whole week. So you have a lot of time. So for the next question, what did you do with your freedom at first, and did it backfire?
Well, for me, with my freedom, I did it mainly at night because I did every school aspect in the day. And at night, I would go on bike rides because I was never allowed to go out at night with my parents here. So I would go on my bike and I would adventure off the whole campus or the streets that are there. That's what I did with my free time.
Was it bad? Was it kind of like, did you...
It could be scary sometimes because the area I was in, that I would go in, there was a little homeless people, like a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I mean, I was all alone, so I would just try to bike faster than normal. So...
What did you? I guess with your freedom, because you know you're not in class all day. Did that kind of affect you in your? Did you have good? Yeah, were you able to still get good grades with the amount of free time that you had?
I feel like since I had so much time,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't set a time of when I should do my work. So I was like, oh, I have enough time in the day. I'll do it later. Or like,
Yeah.
oh, I still have plenty of time. But then later on, I had to actually like set a schedule of everything because it wasn't working like that. It was just there's too much
Yeah.
work, and it was mainly like paper assignments.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, no, I have to do this in my free time because there's no other time after that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because when I was in high school, I was in band, I was in baseball, I had national honors, I had all these things for high school, and I feel like I didn't have enough time. But compared to college, I feel like I had so much time, and like that happened, like Camila was talking about, like that, like it was so much time that I had, like, oh, I can just do it like later. I have plenty of time. But eventually, it was like you have to make that schedule, because if not, you won't do nothing, because you get so caught up in the like, oh, I have plenty of time, which you do. You have so much time, but it's so much time to where like you have to manage it because you don't know like how to when to start, basically.
Yeah.
That discipline.
Especially for papers, you have to time it right. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing research, then you have to collect all your research and then put it together, and just the whole aspect of doing that work, it takes more time than you think it's going to take. So,
Mhm.
Yeah. I worked right after high school, so I was working part-time. The good thing is that I started working at with Galena Park ISD, and I was in the homegrown program, so they allowed me to do my homework before. So I was in a Spanish class with Miss Calderon. Shout out to Miss Calderon if you're listening. And she's like, don't grade my papers, don't teach the class until you finish your homework. So I would do my homework while I was working. So that was the beauty of it. So I finished a lot of my homework Monday through Thursdays, and I got on that routine. So the weekends was just, I was dating someone at the time when I was in finishing up my bachelor's. So it was time with him and time with my friends and my family. So I kind of managed my time, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do remember having to go to the library late and stay at U of H pretty late just to finish up assignments that I didn't complete on time.
Mm-hmm.
So learned my lesson.
Yeah, and I think for me, whenever I went off to school, I started at after high school, graduated in 2010. In the fall semesters when I started at Sam Houston, and for that first semester, you know, I talked about that I struggled that first year, and I think a lot had to do because I had that freedom, and that first semester is whenever I joined my frat. And that took a lot of time. I mean, I got like, you kind of put in to your head that you want to dedicate a lot to the frat, especially because you're just starting and you want to be like that. You're that new person joining in the organizations, and you have all this mindset that you want to make it better, and you want to be like one of the good brothers that, you know, take over certain stuff. And sometimes, you know, that happened to me where I was dedicating a lot of my free time to the frat instead of, you know, my classes and my studies. And and well, even with that dedication to like the business aspect of the frat, then came the social part as well. So just hanging out, you know, having times to go out to each other's places, and, you know, going out to party. And I spend a lot of time, you know, picking, because it was something new to me. It was something fun, and just like being able to do something like that. If I, you know, there'll be times when I'll be like, man, I got a class, but I could probably skip this class and, you know, go do this instead. And they have it more than often, because I mean, these professors, depending, some of them might call you out and say like, oh, you know, you missed this class, depending if it's a small class, but a lot of them do not care. They, you know, you can miss the whole semester and
they wouldn't mind.
They wouldn't. Yeah.
I agree.
And so I think for me, I had that much freedom to where I dedicated too much time to my, I guess, social life at that time. And it backfired, and that's kind of why I did struggle a lot that first year. So going in, what is something that you learned the hard way about being independent?
I think for me, it was probably going back to that about like not having that discipline, when to study, when to do this, when to do that. Like I had to learn the hard way when it came to my algebra class, my first semester of college. Like I struggled on that test because I was completing the homework. I was doing the homework and everything. But then once that test came around, to be honest, I bombed it. Like I bombed that test. But because I wasn't doing the proper amount of studying. I was just completing the homework, but I wasn't actually learning myself. I wasn't like actually trying to understand. Like there wasn't someone showing me what it was going to look like, what was expected. So I think I had to learn the hard way of learning how to actually study and grasp knowledge without having someone telling you how to do it and what exactly to learn and what's going to be on the test. It was all up on my own, but because I was independent now.
Yeah, makes sense.
Something I learned the hard way was you really have to take care of your health if you go away, mainly because you're not surrounded by a bunch of family. I was raised with my mom very like cautious of, did I eat my 3 meals of the day, or like, did I do my laundry, all the stuff like your personal items and things. And I just had to learn to do it on my own. And sometimes I would just lose track of like, oh, did I eat today? Or like, oh, I didn't do enough things that I need to do to take care of my own self. So that's something that was hard for me to learn.
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing now too, like mental health and, you know, getting stressed out. And I felt like back then in the generation, you would just take it and just kind of put it aside and keep trying to put it aside. And next thing you know, you have an episode where you just blow up.
Yeah.
But I think now with the newer generations coming in, they're more open to talking about it. Not only open to talk about it, but just they won't put up with it. If something kind of bothers them or something that they don't like, which is good about this new generation, they're not gonna sit around and just wait for it. They're gonna make changes, which is good.
Yeah.
Well, remember the parents we grew up with, you know, we're like, you know, ¿estás aburrido? All right, go outside and do something, you know, like imagine, you know, I cannot imagine telling my parents I'm a little stressed out. What are you stressed about? You know, what are you stressed about? You're not paying bills. You're not paying this. You're not, you know, so that wasn't a topic to talk about back in the days in the late 90s, early 20s, you know. But, you know, I think with that whole independency, like you all mentioned, you know, I think one thing I learned is not doing an all-nighters. I remember doing all-nighters, like trying to study and trying to submit a paper and staying up till like 3 o'clock, taking, you know, would study till like, 11, take a break from 11 and sleep till about 1 o'clock in the morning and then get up again and study. I did that my first semester and I was like, oh no, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's very draining.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, so I think the important thing is managing your time. I think that's when it comes to being independent. You don't have people telling you what to do, or for students probably still in high school that our parents are waking them up to go to class and this and that. So going into the next topic, which is the time management. Have y'all ever fallen behind in a class, and what has happened?
Oh, the only class I did fall behind was my psychology class. She required a lot of writing papers based on like different mental healths and different aspects. And I was still learning the APA format because I was not very familiar with it. And there was times where I just didn't do it because it was just too much. Like I had 3 assignments from one class and then 4 other ones from a different class. And then I had to write a whole 8-page paper. And I was just like, no, I'm going to put my math class first.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I fell behind in that class.
Yeah, like I had mentioned when that first year, there was I failed. I think for both semesters together, I probably failed like 3 classes. Well, some of them I failed, and some of them I had to drop. But yeah, no, it's because I didn't manage my time. I didn't dedicate the time needed that I needed to study, to learn the material, to pass the class, which is, I mean, it's time consuming, of course, and you do have to learn. Sometimes you do studying and you don't get the grade you want, but I wasn't even giving me that chance of trying to get a good grade. I knew I was gonna fail because I didn't spend enough time studying with it. So, but yeah, you kind of learned, especially like if you're on the verge of getting kicked out.
Yeah.
I was at that point. I remember even talking to my wife right now. At that time, I had just started talking to her, and I mentioned to her like I was not doing good, and it's either if I do have to fill out and I do get kicked out, I'm signing up for like the Marines or something, because no way I'm gonna go back home and do nothing. And so, but I kind of just it's just adjustments, and I think that's important too, making adjustments to. I know you mentioned about your class where you were had to figure out a different way of studying. And,
Yeah.
I think college is about making adjustments.
Yeah.
yeah, because I failed a couple exams, and then I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And I think talking to my professor is like, no, well, this is why you're doing it wrong. Learn it this way. It's adapting. You mentioned college is about adapting, about making adjustments, because each professor is going to be different, and all of us study differently. I like rewriting and note cards. Other people are just like, they can just read things and just remember.
Yeah.
I was on my treadmill just looking at my note cards throughout while I was working out. So, figuring out what works best for you, and even study groups. I had plenty of study groups as well.
Yeah, study groups do help a lot. Because like I have fallen behind in class, like mentioning earlier that the algebra class. That first test I bombed it like really bad. I probably got like a 40 on it. That was my very first test of college, and I bombed it, and it was bad, but it was because I didn't study correctly. I didn't know how to study and how to actually absorb knowledge. Without having someone guiding me to tell me what exactly I need to look for, like they do in high school. But eventually, once I got that studying habit, and I knew exactly how to retain knowledge and what worked best for me. I got back up on the class and everything. But going back to where the study groups, and now I'm in calculus, and it's like study groups help a lot. Like I feel like it makes it so much easier when you have a study group, someone there like pushing you and not necessarily challenging you, but like making you remember. Like, oh, okay, you get it. Okay, now solve this one. Or explain this. Oh, okay. Well, actually, I kind of forgot. Let me go back into it and like. I feel like when you when you're teaching someone what you're trying to learn, it helps you retain it better. But
Accountability is always good too.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, next kind of going into our next question, like what's one habit that actually helped you stay on track? You mentioned it's like making adjustments, and some classes it worked better when you worked with other people. other classes where you just had to sit down and read the book and, you know, reread it over and over until it's stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a hobby of homework Sunday through Thursday, and I closed the textbook at 9 p.m. because I couldn't learn anything else. Even if I tried to, nothing retained after 9 p.m. So that was my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then my whole family, my friends knew that if Olga didn't text you back or page you back, you know, because pagers were, and I wasn't, it's because I was busy doing homework.
Yeah.
So they respected that. So I had a good, you know, support system there.
Great. All right, going into the next topics, friends and social life. My question is, was it easy or hard for you to make friends at your experience of, I guess, after high school, college, stuff like that? For me to start it off, I mean, it was easy for me because the first thing I did whenever I got to school was I joined the frat. And I remember they had kind of like a Bearcat day where you would go before your the fall semester started. And I met with this guy, which was my roommate for that weekend activity thing. And then we ended up connecting back whenever we got back. And then he's the one that actually kind of told me about that he was interested in joining a fraternity. So I joined him along with it. And he ended up going or liking a different fraternity than the one that I connected with more. But, you know, like that first, I don't know, it's like that first 2 or 3 weeks when right before school started, and then the 2 weeks after school started, these fraternities have like their rush week. And during this time, you know, they just get to know you. So they invite you to places, invite you to their apartments to hang out, play games. I remember there was a group of us that almost every day we were playing basketball, and we'll go to the gym to play against other people. And so I got I got connected with them really, really fast. And, you know, from that semester to, you know, going through the process of a fraternity and everything, you know, I got to meet a lot of people within that fraternity. Then even after the semester after that, I joined other organizations. So I was, because of that, it became real easy to, you know, meet different people, socialize. And, so I had a good amount of people that I had met, a good amount that I still keep in touch with. There's some of them that I kind of just met at the time at college and haven't talked to them yet. But, I know if I do bump into them, it'll be like, hey, what's up type of thing, which is a good amount of people, that kind of came across through my time in college. So yeah, I was able to make friends pretty easily.
When I was away at UTA, I had no friends at all.
Complete opposite.
None. Not even my roommate. She would hardly be in her room at all. And I tried to make my friends. I tried to join clubs, but the ones I was interested in fell on the same schedule as my math class, which was mandatory. So I really couldn't join those clubs. And I also tried to go to like the events that they had there, but everyone kept to themselves. No one really wanted to interact. They already had their own little like groups. And the same thing for the welcome week. I was in there for welcome week because it was the week before school started. And that week I had just came back home from UBMS. So I was trying to get everything packed. I was trying to just get everything ready. So I didn't have the opportunity to go to welcome week. So I never made any friends.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, like I remember whenever we talked about it and I heard about this, I'm like, I didn't think that was possible, you know, because when you go to, I feel like when you go to university, you're going to make friends like
that
quick. Yeah. But to know that, I mean, I'm sure you're not the only one,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, but a lot of it's people in general have been quiet and to themselves since after COVID. I think in the last 6 years, I've been working with Upper Bound for 21 years. In the last 6 years, you can tell right away. And I think as a program, we make them talk and we make them interact and we make them kind of mingle. And that has helped. But, you know, we went to do recruitment. When we do recruitment, everybody's to themselves. You know, they're eating with their own little clique and there's no conversations, you know, that I can tell that are going on. So I think a lot has to do with how we grew up the last 6 years, you know.
Yeah.
That is
So-
true.
So don't feel bad.
Before I left, I was with my mom and Olga, and I was like, no, I'm positive. Like, I'm going to be out there. Like, I'm going to be open and I'm ready. But no.
The environment you were in.
Yeah.
Have you made friends here?
Yes. Well, it's because they're all from high school. So
Yeah.
it's easier. And people here are more friendly.
Really?
Yes.
No, it's the
Yeah.
It's the
a
community.
norm.
No shout out to UTA.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that because like for me, I actually haven't made any friends here at college, but not because I couldn't, but because
We're not considered
Yeah,
your
I
friends.
thought I
We're
was a
considered.
oh no, sorry.
You see how it is.
No,
We're just his colleagues.
no, oh gosh, that's not what I meant. I meant as in like in class, like student, like you know what I mean, like that, like organizations. But it's because I feel like I haven't looked for them, but because I already I feel like I have a good amount of friends like from outside. So like I'm not really looking to make friends here in college. And well, the thing is, it's San Jack, so it's community college. You're not gonna see as many people.
Yeah.
And so I would go to class with the determination of trying to get my work done and really pay attention and not think about my friends and mingling. Dang, I had something I forgot what I was
Well,
gonna say.
I know that college friends that you create in college, because you're always going to need friends, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Especially within your major, they're always going to be a great contact.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
So I think my friends that I have created in college and with bachelor's and my master's, now that I teach Spanish, you know, one of them teaches at the Central Campus, and she's like, "Hey, Olga, there's an opportunity for a Spanish class. Will you take it?" Hey, but I met her at U of H in my undergrad.
You made the connections.
So the connections are really
Yeah.
good. I know she gave me an opportunity to teach a class at Central Campus, and she's the one that referred me to University of Houston, Clear Lake, position. So contacts are really good, especially within your major. And then I have another friend that I met in 06, 07, and every time I go to DC, I see her. And so it's been many years. And so I think they become really long-lasting friendships, you know?
Yeah.
So think about it that way. Make friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that goes to the next
that's
question
true.
too. So, what advice would you give someone who's shy or nervous about meeting people?
Connection.
Yeah, and it's important too. But you got to put yourself out there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I know sometimes I think a lot of students right now just kind of want to get their class done with and graduate. But you hear a lot from especially alumni saying that sometimes that's not even enough. You know, your degree, it's about, they always say, the people that you know or the connections that you make.
That famous saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's who you know, yeah. And if you never put yourself in a situation to get to meet people, join organizations, figure out what's going on. And even if it's, the school here at San Jack, I know they have a lot of opportunities for you to be involved to do stuff. I was just talking to our transfer advisor, and they have an event coming up where they're taking students to Texas State to visit the campus for free. And so just stuff in being around, attending the stuff that they have around here, but even not even in the school. A good example is our other tutor, Leslie. She has she's taking advantage of different opportunities of internships and getting to know people inside the field that she's trying to graduate from. Is it too loud?
Yeah.
Am I too loud?
Yeah. And I think.
Yeah. So going back to that, that's the advice that I would give. You have to kind of put yourself out there.
Yeah, I always tell UB students, we're trying to get you ready to advocate for yourself. So, when you're in college, try to reach out and speak up and connect and make friends. Jose,
Yeah.
tú también.
No, yeah, I agree. Like I have to. Like my calculus class, it's actually I did make 2 friends actually, but it's just that like I don't know. I'm scared of falling behind like I did that one semester, so I'm kind of just like super locked in. Like, but I agree. You definitely do have to.
Don't stress yourself out.
Yeah.
Time management, do group tour, group study groups, and
Yeah.
Don't
No,
work
I
it.
agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah, so going back to the classes, have y'all ever had a professor that really helped you, or didn't from the past professors that y'all have?
well, my college professor helped me get into my master's program. Dr. Gutierrez, shout out to him at U of H. I had him in undergrad for a couple of classes, and he had just started my master's program, Spanish linguistics with a connection and study abroad in Spain. And I think we were just his guinea pigs. So I got in right away, submitted everything, and I was in Spain by end of June when I started. So it was pretty quick.
Yeah, I think for me, I missed out a lot on that. Another advice I would have is to get a sort of a good connection with your professors, because they could be a big help. They probably have experience where they still have connections where they could place you in internship opportunities as well. So for me, I never really connected with my professors, but there was one time when a professor approached me. I think that professor saw that I was president of another organization called the International Hispanic Association, which was more like a social organization with different Hispanic students. But she had wanted to start a program called the National Organization of Hispanics in Criminal Justice. So she saw that I had already had background in, leadership in organizations, and then involved with my fraternity too. She reached out to me about an idea of starting a student chapter. So this organization, it's an organization for professional adults in criminal justice, of course, a Hispanic. And they wanted to start student chapters at different schools. So this was going to be the first student chapter in hopes of creating. And of course, Sam Houston's a great school for criminal justice. So she told me if I would like to, help get it started and be kind of like the first president and establish that organization at the school. And whenever she approached me, it was already my senior year. And but I told her yes. I think it would have been a great opportunity for me to, I guess, place some sort of legacy at the school. And so that exactly. I mean, I got to work. I started creating the with help with her. I connected with that professor a lot. From setting up meetings to figure out our goal of the organization, how we wanted to be involved, and the kind of stuff that our goals for the students that are involved in the organization too. I created my team, which had to do with different people that I knew from school, especially from the CJ. And we kicked it off, and I remember we had like a big ceremony where they pinned us for being, I guess, the founding line of the organization. And it was pretty cool, and it's pretty nice to see it now that's so active, and
Is it still?
they have a lot of students in it as well.
Have you gone back to visit?
That organization? No, I keep up with them like on social media.
You need to go find it and say, "Hey, I was a founder."
Yeah, like I don't want to be that person. Like, hey guys, I created this.
I would.
So I just tell people
Where's
on
my
the side,
picture?
like, oh, look. And I think they do. Like, if you go to one of their the pages where we have the first one of the pictures that they still have in there is with us, and maybe I can find it and put it on the YouTube video. Yeah.
Yes, please do
but,
it.
but it was a cool experience, just start off and then being, the first one.
Yeah.
And seeing that the organization is still going. I don't know if they ever did branch out to different schools, but yeah, it was a cool thing that I did.
So you were a guinea pig like I did
Yeah,
with my master's
with a
program.
professor.
But communication is key, guys. I can tell you this, Miss. As a professor, I did notice one of my students, especially the students on face-to-face, I noticed one student came in and we were taking a test, and he just did not look well. Just like how we can read our upper bound students when they come on Saturday when they're having a bad day. I knew this student was having a hard time. I was like, so I pulled him out of the exam, and I'm like, hey, is there something wrong? And He's like, I just can't concentrate. I tried to study, and I'm like, oh, he just blew the exam, right? He's like, I found out my mom had cancer yesterday, and I'm like, give me your exam, go be with your mom, and come back during the office hours. He did that like 2 more times during the semester, and then here I am going to JCPenney's after the semester. He passed, you know. After the semester comes through, and I never requested a verification, you know, because how could you, you know?
Yeah.
But I was at JCPenney's one time, and I saw him. And the mom, and he's like, hey, Miss Olga. He's like, and then he told his mom, you remember my professor that allowed me to be with you during chemo and during this and visits? He's like, this is her. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was really good. Like I said, college professors, you really, really need to have a communication, because we've been there before. So create those connections with your college professors, because if we don't know and you don't care about your class, why should I care too? You know?
Yeah. So do you feel like most professors, they're going to be, as long as you're showing that you're trying and you're communicating and you're trying your best to do your best in the course while managing your stuff that's going on in your life, they'll see that and they'll try to help you? Most professors tend to be like that?
Most professors, as long as you communicate with them.
Like you show that you're trying.
They have empathy. Don't
Yeah.
ever, you know, the professors that are hard, because I had my geology professor that I ended up failing here, but he just had no empathy, you know. But
yeah.
some people, you know, maybe they were having a rough time, and you know, and then his whole class was failing, but it's because he wasn't a true teacher, you know.
Yeah.
Like, not that he wasn't a true teacher, he had a passion, but like all professors have, they have a passion, but some don't have teaching skills.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So if you speak to your professors and say, hey, not to bash on your lesson, but I'm struggling with this, what is a better way to study for your exams? Or, you know, asking them for guidance, it's good, you know, because if I don't get an email from my students and they're okay with all the assignments I give them right now and nobody complains,
You're going to think,
it's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm a perfect teacher, you know, but
Yeah.
I know I have my issues, and I'm trying to make changes, especially with the online component. Like I mentioned to y'all guys early, that I'm recording my PowerPoint just for them to have somewhat of connection with me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
Speak and communicate with your professors.
All right, so the next topic, money talk. So when it comes to that time when we're in college, money is important, and we don't have a lot of it. So how do you manage your money as a student? Coming from the student to now, how do you manage it?
Setting yourself like a limit. Like, I know that's basic, but just like really just trying to not save the money, but like being like, oh, okay, I got this amount of money. I'm gonna allow myself to spend this much, this and that, and not blow it. Cause it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm gonna just blow it right now. I'm gonna make some more in 2 weeks from now. I'm gonna get it again. It's fine. But like I feel like that if you build that discipline, it helps a lot, and you're not stressing about like, oh crap, I blew it all on these pair of glasses, and I don't know if I can't go get Chick-fil-A now. Like I think just being disciplined in that sense, not being frugal or anything, but just to be understanding of what you do have and how often it comes in. I think that helped a lot for me, and not blowing it all, because I used to blow it all really fast, and I was pretty irresponsible in that. But also, I think maybe taking advantage of student discounts. There's a lot of places that do a lot of student discounts, and you wouldn't know because you don't ask. Right. But they'll give you like discounts, and it adds up.
Yeah, and the point systems that a lot of our restaurants have.
For sure, yeah, taking advantage of that.
No, when I was in college, they used to. I think they finally stopped it at the university and college levels, where they used to hand out credit cards to everybody, and you know, fill out this little questionnaire, and you didn't know you were getting a credit card. And a lot of my friends had like 5-6 credit cards by the time they were 20, you know, and I'm like, no, I'm not signing. I think I had one credit card, and I was putting everything. It was so easy just to put it, but then we didn't realize, nobody educated us about the interest rate and credit cards and things like that. But my parents did. My parents are like, we only have one credit card and we're using it for any kind of emergency. So I think I had one only in my 20s, and that was it. Now I have two, but it's more to accumulate miles. But I think the colleges and universities finally got rid of that opportunity. I don't know if you had that opportunity to, where they were giving out.
I think it was easy. I think a lot of students probably just didn't see it at that time, but I mean, I'm sure as a student, even as an adult, it's so easy to get a credit card.
But they were giving them out like the first week, like during orientation. They were like just like vendors in the courtyard, and just like, here, fill out this paper, and you were just signing your name, and all right, you got a credit card in the mail.
Yeah.
And it's like it was only like 5,000, but 5,000 is at 18.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
they
lot.
have to run your credit and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
it's
didn't
scary.
know. We didn't know they were running our credit cards.
Yeah,
and
they be doing
our-
that whenever. I don't know if y'all notice when y'all go somewhere shopping, like, oh, do you want to get a 10% discount? You just sign up for this card.
Yeah,
A lot of people are like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. And next thing you know, you got a inquiry in your credit report, and you got a credit card now.
they drop points. I don't know
Yeah.
how many points, but
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never signed up for those, but I didn't know that's what
Yeah.
they, those.
Do
That's
not
what those
recommend
were.
it.
yeah.
I didn't get credit cards, but I got free food. They would have like Uber Eat vendors, and they would give us free food and like get a little discount.
So how was it? I mean, were you kind of just going off of your their financial aid or anything like that for money wise? I mean, did you spend money over there?
I mean,
Allowance?
I didn't have a job, but my parents did give me like a certain amount of money, and they were like, "This is just for emergencies,"
Mm-hmm.
and it was like around 800. And within those 5 months that I was there, 4 or 5, I only spent 200.
Oh
And
wow!
That was on groceries.
Mm.
Because there would be times where I
Don't
wanted.
starve yourself.
So you had a meal plan.
I
I'm
had the
guessing,
meal
right?
plan.
And you would
Okay.
just use that.
And it's because the meals there would be repetitive.
Uh-huh.
So I would get tired of it. I tried to do as many combinations as I could, but it didn't work out. So when I would go to the grocery store, I would just try to get like essential like things that I can make a big meal that would last me a week.
Mm.
So like pasta, I would make a big pasta and I would just have it for the rest of the week. So
I mean, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Only
that's pretty
spending
smart.
$200
Yeah.
for was it like a semester or 2 semesters?
a semester, yeah.
Yeah. that's-
Occasionally, I would buy like some little entertainment, like I don't know. I would get coloring books. And
So you didn't do a lot of spending.
no,
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah. I
I-
think whenever I was there, I had a job, so I would spend the money that I would get from that job only. So
the only thing that was hard was to hold back from Uber.
Mm.
Uber Eats. I always getting notifications of, do you want to like a
buy one, you get a free
yeah,
sandwich and
get a
stuff.
deal, like-
Yeah,
40% off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to hold back so badly.
I feel you on that one. But yeah, whenever I was there, I think my budget was to just the money that I make was my spending money. But I mean, I was going like spending. I mean, I'll have like an extra maybe $100 to $150 a week, and that's the money that I would spend either to to socialize or to eat out. Mostly to just that eating out and socializing.
Yeah.
What I'll spend my money in. But I had my kind of like my budget. I knew that most of my time there, I was working at Buc-ee's, and we will get paid weekly. And so I knew from each paycheck I had to save like maybe $100 to $120 for rent, and the rest of the money was for me to spend. So if I spend everything by Wednesday or Thursday, then I had to wait it off until I got paid again. But that's kind of my thing. Good thing I didn't take out no credit cards. I think I had one that I got in with the help of my mom to help me build up my credit, but it was a secured credit card, and I think the limit was like maybe $300, and it was money that you had to put in. So I gave the bank $300, and they gave me a credit card for $300.
Mm.
Oh, nice.
But I don't think I really used it much. But I felt like if I would have gotten introduced or had the chance to get a credit card, I would have definitely had gotten one and not survived it.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
So-
when I was in college, they were just vendors, and hey, you get in free
Yeah.
peluche or something, and sign up, and we got credit cards.
Yeah, and I think
But we didn't. I think I just got one, and then I stayed home. I lived at parents, so the only thing at home I needed to pay for was my cell phone, my insurance, and my car payment.
Yeah, going into the next question is, Have you or someone you know made bad financial decisions in college?
Credit cards.
Credit cards, yeah. And I think for me, the money that I got from, I guess, from my job too, but sometimes when I had a chance to take out financial aid, I would for the first year I don't think I took out any of the loans part. It was just mostly the grants. But after that, I did accept my loans and even I took out all of it, and I didn't need to take out all of it, but I still
They
did.
penalize you if you take all of it?
No, they don't
No.
penalize it. They just like, if I was smart, I would just taken out the amount that I needed to pay off my classes, but I just took everything that was available
For spending money.
and for spending it. Yeah,
And you have
so
to pay it back.
of course, yeah. Now,
Well,
so
now you know
Bruh.
when you take out a loan, you take out the subsidized and unsubsidized, and yeah, you take out everything.
yeah. So that's a bad decision that I made, and it will be like an extra, maybe, I don't know, each semester, maybe like
$100,000.
$500-$600 extra, and I'll mainly use that for, I don't know, I would have to pay my dues for the fraternity. Sometimes I'll just spend it just in a dumb ways, buying tech stuff. I remember laptop or headphones, but yeah, those are kind of some bad decisions that I made, and it's kind of
But the good thing is that you're in a profession that you can get your loan forgiven.
yeah, and I'm almost there.
You're
Yeah.
always there. We'll celebrate.
Almost there. I should have already been done with it, but I think the whole hold up,
Going
with the,
back to get your master's.
yeah, policy changes and the master's thing. But yeah, I'm close to it now, so
That's good.
it worked out. But yeah, I think when it comes down to something that I see, especially with people that stay locally, is they take out stuff that they are responsible now to do, which I think is like, let's say you don't have anything responsible that you have to pay.
Maybe Crunchyroll, but
Do you pay your insurance?
your subscriptions or something.
no. Oh. Other than my insurance, but everything else,
Your phone
It's
bill.
good.
yeah, because all that's already kind of paid off,
Paid
and or
Parents.
like because of internet
Mhm.
providers and all these things.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget the internet providers at home. Y'all can go ahead and install it and get a student discount too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
okay.
an internet, and even different. Like I know there's some students that have the Hulu account as a student, Spotify as a student. You know. There's a-
Spotify only lasts for like a month.
Oh really?
For
Yeah.
students?
Like I think you get like a 6-month trial, or
Oh, okay, yeah.
and then it just reduces the amount you have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's
for
cheaper than the regular one.
Regular ones.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's what happened. It happens a lot to people here where they want to graduate. After they graduate, then they want to get a new car, get the latest cell phone, where now they have to pay like $30-$40 a month extra on top of their plan. Of course, taking out those credit cards, want to go on a shopping spree, and now they have to pay $50-$60 a month for their credit cards that they're paying minimum payments on. And all of that stacks up. And I mean, I kind of now as adults, we have that, where stuff stacks up, but we don't have the responsibility of, college, I guess. So I think a lot of those people that sometimes they grow up too fast to where they get all those responsibilities, and now they have to get a job or a good paying job, or not even good paying, but they have to put in the amount of hours
To maintain it.
to maintain that type of living. So yeah, I mean,
This is why I stress a lot. Like my parents at the age of 18 gave me a car, and they're like, "Here's your car note, and here's your insurance." And I'm like, I barely have a job. How do you expect me to pay? Not luckily, but I think I lasted with that with five months, and then I had a wreck. They ended up hitting me. They totaled my car. They gave me a check, and I'm like, all right, it's $5,000. I'm buying a car for $5,000, and that's what I did. I bought a little Grand Dam, drove that to the rims, but I drove it until I graduated from college. And once I graduated a year later, that's when I got a job. I got a job already. I had a job opportunity, and then I got my Mustang that I drove for another 11 years. So I keep my cars, but because I like that period that I don't have car payment.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
enjoy those.
Yeah, especially if you're young going to college, don't take responsibilities.
Car
Especially
insurance,
payments.
it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's unnecessary things. But if you can just buy a little car that gets you from point A to point B, you don't need that luxury car right now.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so next topic we are going into is just a reality check, not having it figured out. Have you ever had any doubt about your major or career path?
Well, for me, I wouldn't say I have a doubt. It's more so if I'm sure that's exactly what I want to do. I have a big interest in it, and I definitely like it. But as time goes on, and I'm still learning things and everything, I've had doubts of maybe is that what I want to do? Like that's the thing I want to do for my profession, or is that something that I see myself doing in the future, or is that something that's going to be like valuable in the future? But I do like it. I definitely that's something I want to do. But it's just like, is that going to be something that's valuable in the future? Is that something that's going to benefit me in the future? But I definitely want to be in that field for sure, at least related to it, regardless. But yeah.
No, I knew I was going to be a teacher since I was a kid. I used to put all my friends in the backyard. Here, you sit down. And my dad got me a little chalkboard. And I was always teaching. But I always thought that I was going to be a teacher at the high school and then move on to be a counselor. Because my counselor, Ms. Vanjie Peña, really motivated me to be a counselor. And Ms. Calderon motivated me to be a teacher. So I kind of do both. I still teach Spanish, and then UB has given me the opportunity to counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Similar work.
Mm-hmm.
I've doubted my major and my career path too many times.
I agree.
Mainly
It's time to do it now. Huh?
It's good. It's good.
Mainly because nursing, it's like a tough. All of them are tough majors, but it's like, am I really gonna devote my whole time and effort into this one subject? And also just the thought of like, am I smart enough to be in this? I mean, you're taking care of people, and like you have to be cautious of what you're doing, and just the whole aspect of.
I've been stuck at the hospital with my parents for a couple of years. Believe me, you will be a perfect nurse.
And then
No, I'm kidding.
You, on the other hand, no way.
I'm kidding.
And career-wise, there's so many different things you can do with the medical degree. Like, there's so many. And it's just, do I want to have this time, like, night shifts, or are these the times do I want to be working with, or am I just going to have enough time for myself or for my family? And which one will benefit me more? Which one will interest me more? Too many
questions.
Too many questions.
Too many voices in your head.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what I see good about any type of career path that you go to, but more specifically with a degree, it kind of opens. So I think right now, like when I was going to school, or before I go into school, I wanted to do criminal justice because I wanted to be a police officer, and that was kind of the only thing that I was thinking about until I got into college and got introduced to different things. And there was so much more that you can do than I was thinking. During that time, I kind of made the choice of wanting to work with young adults. And then that led me into another kind of like rabbit hole. And, I started working in the juvenile facility place. Then I started working in a school setting, and then working as kind of like a community-based organization where I would find outside organizations to help the students. And that led me into working with nonprofits, and then brought me back to, working here with, students and learning about college. But I feel like, if you do go into like the medical might lead you to, do something else, not necessarily having to work with patients, but maybe like medicine or documentations, or even teaching safety protocols. I don't know, something like that. But I feel like with a degree, it's real.
Possible.
You don't have to. You kind of want to put your mindset of something that you want to do specifically, but
That's kind of
most of the time, yeah, it changes. I mean, it happened to both of us. I think it's something similar to what we kind of were planning to. Well, me, not really, but you know,
you were
it's
you're still like the working with juvenile, you're not juveniles,
yeah,
but
the
students,
young adults,
the
and
young
yes, and that's kind of where I stayed, but it helps out a lot. I mean, it's what I think is cool about it. It's a good opportunity, and you could find a job, a good paying job.
Yeah.
That's not real stressful. I mean, sometimes it is, but sometimes you find
You need to talk to your boss then.
not specifically for me, but you know, having a degree or getting a job with a degree, some jobs are stressful. But you could easily make an adjustment to where, like, you know what, I'm not fit for this job. I'm gonna go look for something else. And with a degree, you're able to do that. Compared to other stuff, like if you have some type of certification where you're only able to do that job, you don't really have that able to move to different jobs, because sometimes those certifications or, you know, specific degrees are only made for that type of position. Given then with a associate's, college degree, bachelor's degree, master's, I think it's a good variety of different jobs. You know, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but the mental health of, you know, being a college student or attending college, what stressed you out the most in college?
For me, was testing.
Testing.
Yes, especially depending on how the professor grades their class. Sometimes the test would be more percentage than the assignments, or sometimes it would be the assignments, and depending how you do on your assignments is how you should do on your test, like how much you should try. And I feel like that stressed me out a lot, because I could have done so good on so many assignments, and then on one test I just got like a lower score, and it affected so much my overall grade, and that would just stress me out even more, and I just never liked taking tests.
I was a good tester, but on testing, it's like when I walked out and I was like, oh, I did so good, I felt so good, I bombed it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you know, so I stopped. But mine was presentations. Like, I was not a great speaker. I was always nervous. I was, you know, so I feel my students the way they are, you know, when they don't want to present. So presentations for me.
I think for me, it would probably be test as well. But I think the main thing for me, and it's not necessarily something that you do in college or like that's part of your class, but it's trying to find like internships, thinking of the future. Am I doing the right major? Am I wasting my time taking this class? It's that type of stress rather than the actual school itself. It's more so like, is this worth it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Adulthood.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I don't know. Like that's like the only thing, because like, yeah, tests are hard and like challenging and everything, but I feel like taking the classes themselves aren't hard if you know for sure that's what you want to do, or like you know that's something you need to have regardless. Yeah. Because if that's not something that you're not that interested in, I feel like they become harder, and it's more stressful, and you feel like you're wasting time. And like for me, I guess the main thing for me is trying to find internships and all these things, making sure I'm setting myself up in the future, and basically just not wasting my time right now. Like making sure that I am doing enough.
Yeah. So you probably feel that you got to do more than just your passing your classes.
Yeah, exactly.
And but you haven't.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, have you, like you feel like you haven't done
Enough.
anything outside of your classes?
I feel like I haven't done enough from what I've done outside my classes.
Well, the thing about it is that you're on your second year.
Yeah,
you know, once you get into the university level, this is why, have you applied already? I told you.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. So once you get into the fall semester, the people that are going to get you into these internships will be your college professors at the universities within the major.
I see.
So right now you're just taking the basics. So once you get into the junior year, senior year, that's when internships are going to be, be available for you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably more opportunities once you get into that.
Yeah, this is why connections with your, the connections you have with your college professors are key, because they'll remind you, or they'll hear you say, you know what, I saw something in Jose, maybe he's going to be good for this internship. Hey, contact this person. So connections with your professors that are within your major. So don't stress out too much.
So you feel like where I'm at right now, 'cause I'm a sophomore, I shouldn't stress too much about it. It's not something
Yeah,
that's something in my
but
control.
if it falls in your lap, and hey, I got an internship this summer, perfect. But they're gonna look that you're taking the higher math classes and engineering classes. So maybe next summer, you can apply for different different internships.
I see. Okay.
And hopefully you have a good connection with your professors too.
Yeah, I don't.
Go bug
I'm
them.
not too struggled. I mean, not too worried about that. I have great professors, so I hope I find good ones in university too. Yeah.
Yeah, so when it goes to stressing in college, I think just for me it was the whole workload of not being adjusted to it and not knowing how to manage it. And of course, failing the classes and having to drop classes was really stressful. So I kind of burned out. So going into my next question is, did y'all ever feel burned out or feeling overwhelmed? And kind of like, how did you manage that? For me, I saw that I was failing classes and, I had to, on the verge of getting kicked out. It kind of lit a fire in me that I had to make a change. So
Yeah.
I made those adjustments. I dedicated more time to, my classes. And from there,
you really lied every time I text you. How's it going? Oh, it's great.
I'm stressed. Yeah, I mean, I was getting by with like C's and D's. And essentially, though, when I make that switch and, kind of prioritized, I was getting more B's and C's. And essentially, I was bringing in A's too. So,
Wow.
And,
it's funny that you mentioned grades and semesters. JD, our boss, he used to always say, a transcript tells the story. So when you look at your transcript, always remember what happened and how it made changes.
yeah, you really can. Good thing, Jobs haven't asked me for my transcript. Which
Don't worry, I did see it
But,
when I saw when I
yeah,
hired
you see, like in
you.
the beginning of them, for me, I had classes that were dropped, Q's, and then failing classes, retake, and then not until like my last year or so, I started getting A's and B's and 1C here and every now and there. But I kind of made a change, and I took in a lot more hours too. So I was already kind of falling behind. I did graduate a semester late because of failing a class or dropping. And so, but that last year I was taking maybe like an extra, I don't know, like 5-6 classes, and then summer 2. So I picked it up and I got it done. But I feel like for me it was just making the adjustments and just putting up with it. Saying you got to do this. If not, you fail.
Yeah.
And so I failed a class. I failed a geology class here. But I was like always questioning, was it me or was it the professor?
Yeah.
The whole class failed. Okay. So I know it was a professor because I took both historical geology and physical geology at the central campus, and I passed them both the next semester. And I took both of them together because I needed to graduate on time. But I was questioning, did I do it?
Yeah.
Or did he? And it was him.
Yeah, professor definitely has a big, like the professor you have
Matters.
definitely matters.
Yeah, rape my professor.
Really
Nope.
helpful.
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
I think for me, something that helped me deal with the burnout, I was learning like the 30-15 rule or like 30-15 ratio, in the sense of like dedicating 30 minutes of studying, like 30 minutes of pure studying, boom, 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 no distraction, no nothing, and then allowing yourself to have 15 minutes of like brain rot. And then after those 15 minutes, you go straight back into it. And it's like those study habits really helped a lot to get over that like overwhelmed feeling. Because you know how like I feel like your brain's like a sponge. Once you put too much water in it, it's gonna start to overflow. But if you like let it drain a little bit, you're able to recapture more.
That's why I would close my books at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Because I could not, nothing else would go in.
Yeah, I feel like that's like really good advice. Like that's something that I would do, and it would help a lot. Like, cause you allow your brain to really disengage and relax.
And one of the biggest things is that we're all kind of figuring out like this is what worked in college. Like, I know I can't function after 9 p.m., not academically, okay,
Yeah.
something else. But I carry that forward to my job. I try and, Joel and I work on, we all work on the weekends. So Fridays, I'm like, let's try to finish everything by Thursdays because Fridays we're off,
Yeah.
If I have to come for meetings, of course, there's obligations, I'll be here. But I try not to bring homework back to the house.
Right.
Everything that we do, we try to do it within the office, within a time period. I know in the fall we're going to start doing our grant writing. So that time I'm going to have to, I do stress out a lot. But finding something that helps you just release that stress. Mine, I ended up adopting the jogging. So jogging to me is my stress reliever. So think about how you guys all cope with it, because later on you're going to utilize that kind of method in the professional level.
Yeah.
I was never really good at studying. I never really studied in high school. I would just wing it because most of the time I could retain the information and I just knew what to answer. But once I went into college, I would get so overwhelmed because no one really taught me how to properly study. I would just copy the notes, but that really wouldn't be as effective. And also just staying in the same spot for so long and with so much work, it just made me feel so like claustrophobic and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I would just go buy a meal, and there was a soccer field next to my dorm, and it was right next to a creek, and I would literally just lay in the grass and eat my meal, and just I would leave my phone in my dorm, so I would just literally be by myself and just like observe my surroundings and just trying to
You did the grounding method.
yes
right?
basically trying to ground myself.
Yeah, it's called the grounding method. Like sometimes we just need to take our shoes off and go feel the grass.
Yeah, and especially the weather was when it was getting cold, so it was really nice. And then there's a creek right next to me, and I was just taking it all in.
Listening to the water trickle.
Yeah, I probably looked like I was a crazy person because it was in the middle of the night. But
Oh, they're like a homeless person there. No, but everyone works differently, so enjoy that. You have to ground yourself. Sometimes I have to walk away. Este niño.
Yeah, so moving forward, growth and opportunities. From what your experience now, I mean, have y'all done any type of internship clubs, programs? I feel like this is kind of like an opportunity for y'all to get some knowledge of, working for this Upward Bound program.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think a lot of my students that do go off, all my alumni or tutors that have worked with me, they're always saying, oh, the organization, the planning. I think the time management is some of the skills that they pick up on Upward Bound, on the Upward Bound side, how we work things out. So gain these knowledge. So when you write these resumes, if you were in charge of a workshop, if you were in charge of, organizing an event, mention these skills within this program. Later on, when you do internships, there's going to be other things that you can utilize what we learn here to those different careers.
Yeah. I think for y'all, this is a great opportunity to learn how to work in a working environment too, and just kind of mingle with other people, with students, and then adults as well. For me, I mean, I did join a good amount of clubs in my time at school. I also did meet a lot of different members of the fraternity from being alumni in our chapter.
Created one too.
And then also meeting alumni or even students from different schools, not just even in Texas, because there'll be some conferences that we do nationally that we'll meet them, and from different states, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I think I did a good amount. I mean, not to say that all of them helped me out in with different opportunities, but I did get a good amount of help when it came down to, looking for a job or what to look for, and stuff like that. And then even I think now, if needing to, I could always go back to them and, ask for some type of help or, recommendations and stuff. So for me, it did help me out a lot for being part of different organizations. So going into that, what do you think matters most, grades or experience?
Grades. Yes. I always say that for experiences, you can always experience anything anywhere. You have time to experience things. There's really no rush. And I mean, you benefit more from getting good grades because then it just keeps you building up, and experiences. I mean, like I said, you could do it anywhere at any time.
Yeah, grades make you get that degree.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's 50-50.
50.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because, of course, you have to have good grades to pass.
And get that grade. They get the college degree.
Correct. And, but not necessarily, like, if somebody wants to dedicate their whole time of, trying to get the best grades. And if you go to apply for a job, they'll probably take in somebody with either experience or have some type of knowledge in the job.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if somebody that's something simple as socializing. If they have a better connection or find it easier to talk to somebody, and they look at your grades, his grades are not better than this person, but I'm sure that I could get work more done with this person rather than this person that has a hard time, getting something across from each other.
Yeah.
Socializing with each other. So that's why I kind of see like some students how they dedicate their, a lot of times in studying and getting good grades, but knowing that they're not really a social person can essentially, backfire, and, it could be something that's missing for whenever they try to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, when I was in high school, working these jobs at McDonald's, and I worked at Marble Slab and Burger King. Honestly, I think it helped in a way too, me being able to work as a team, working with customers, rude customers, nice customers, and being professional at that time. But I was able to socialize a lot, and
got you your job at NASA, no?
yeah, and maybe something like that too, and but I just think that that's why I think it's 50-50, for someone that has good grades. Essentially I've heard it, multiple times that from as long as you do graduate, then, they don't really, there's not really a lot of jobs are going to tell you like, oh, well, what about your grade? What was your GPA? Or, how'd you do your first year?
Yeah. GPA matters is, when you're trying to get into that master's program.
Yeah.
That's when it matters, honestly. But grades, you have to pass the class. As long as you pass it, if you want to maintain it high enough, I always recommend B's and A's. I had C's and I had D's too. But the experience, try to take advantage of organizations. That's something that I didn't do at U of H because I was a commuter. And then I was dating. So all I did was school, date, work, and family. And that was it. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get that experience. The only good thing is that I was already at Galena Park ISD, and I was like, I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to work here. And then, that's what I did. So gain that experience, connect with people, do organizations at your schools, and branch out.
Volunteers. Yeah.
I take my answer back. I interpreted it a whole different way.
I think so too.
Were you thinking like experience, like my college experience?
Yes.
Or?
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, great.
That makes sense.
Now you may, y'all know.
Yeah,
you get
50-50.
Yes.
All right, so just to close it out, I think we should end it as in, what advice would you give our Upward Bound students, or even just anybody in general, just trying to go through college and maneuver college, from college students going through it now, from alumni like us? What is your advice to them?
Listen to my staff, please.
My advice is take advantage of all the resources that they provide for us. And don't just expect them to tell you what they have, but reach out and stay in touch and ask, like, can y'all help me with this? Or is there any way y'all could help me build up, I don't know, my more experiences or anything? Just be there, present, and just take full advantage of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have written down on mine. Take advantage of opportunities.
Yes.
I think for me, whenever something came up, not really thinking about it fully, I'll be like, oh, you know what, I'll give it a try. And I think I did that even as an upward bound student when, I'll be one of the first ones to volunteer to go do something that other people were kind of like, oh, I don't want to be the first one, or be like, first one to like somebody come up here and write this, like I'll go up there first, or somebody take the lead and do this. Oh yeah, I'll do it first. And that kind of led me into, whenever I applied for my NASA scholarship, I heard in high school they made an announcement on the intercom thing, and I was like, I just heard it and I said, work at NASA, this and that. I'm like, oh, that sounds real cool. I'm gonna go check it out. And knowing out of the whole school, I mean, everybody heard it. I guess only 2 people applied, me and somebody else, and we both got in, and it was probably one of the coolest experience ever. And
we had a new student that time.
Yeah, even with Upward Bound, whenever Olga came and talked to me about it, I'm like, dude, that sounds real cool. I'm gonna go check it out. And I wasn't afraid to go and try something out. And I think that kind of stuck with me, even from being an adult to looking for new jobs, or sometimes I took a job and it wasn't as what I expected, but I learned from it. I gained something from it. So, opportunities, I think for our students now, take advantage of the opportunities that we offer, that the school offers, other people offer. Sometimes people don't want to take advantage of it because of the time, or, thinking like, oh, I might not be good at it, and, are afraid to, try it out. Definitely just do it.
I want to add, if you're a senior too, that take really serious the help y'all give us for colleges and like our resumes and stuff, because when we were doing that, I was so much ahead than the people in my school. Mm-hmm. And when I had all of that done, my friends were still like rushing to try to do everything. They were confused. They didn't know what to do. And I had so much like peace and like that just the relaxation that I had it done, and mm-hmm. that I have everything right, and I don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah, I put here, don't be too hard on yourself. For upper bounders, things happen, and even in college. One thing that JD always used to tell our students, and I continue telling people, if college was easy, everybody would have a degree.
Yeah.
So, understand that it's not going to be easy. It's just how you're going to make it work. Mm-hmm. What resources can you utilize in high school that you can carry to to your college level? And flexibility and adapting. Believe me, we all learned how to adapt after COVID, after 2020, Yeah. So, I always told y'all, it's not going to be easy, but it's adapting and figuring out what works best for you.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's almost exactly what I was going to say. Like, kind of understand that, like, have that mentality that, like, it's okay if things aren't easy. Like, it's if there's like a minor inconvenience, don't let that destroy who you are, or you didn't get that thing the very first time. Like, have that passion, have that try to get that. You know what I mean? There's no victory without no sacrifice, and so I think switching that mentality of that, expect things to be difficult. Because once it gets to you, like once that difficult thing comes to you, you're prepared because you're already expecting it, and it doesn't catch you by surprise. So I feel like that's something that helps a lot with me in college. But with all that being said, I feel like college is really not too bad if you compare it to high school. And I think if you just stay organized, time management, that's like the key to a breeze. So I think, just organization and time management, I think that's something you really need to have and learn. Mm-hmm. And that helps a lot in college. Yeah. And we have a lot of, not that we have a lot of time, life is short, but like The other day I saw at U of H this guy graduated at 95 years old. So like,
It's never too late.
it's never too late. Yeah, like, and it's so if anything, it's best to make those mistakes now and to struggle now because it'll help you in your future because you're gonna learn in the future. It makes you smarter, I guess you could say.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us. This would be the end of the podcast, and hope you listen to it and join us next time.
Have a good one. Bye.
See ya.